Here we go. All right, so different enzymes can be used to cut, copy, or clone and move segments of DNA. An important category of an enzyme, right? Or if you don't know what an enzyme is, these are catalysts that speed up what kind of reactions? Perfect. Catalysts that speed up chemical reactions. Okay, so just as a review, what an enzyme is. Okay, an important category of enzymes used to cut and section of DNA and its DNA from an organism, a gene and its DNA is known as a restriction enzyme. When this piece of DNA, which has been cut out of an organism, is placed in another one, that section of a gene will express the characteristics that were expressed by this gene in an organism it was taken from. So that's a lot to review and a lot to take in. So now let's see what that means and what that's taught and what it is. Okay, so let's do one last practice question and this will close us for today. The pedigree of Seattle Slew, a racehorse considered to be one of the fastest horses that ever lived. What is a desirable trait here? The speed. Includes very fast horses on both his mother's side and his father's side. Seattle Slew most likely was a result of environmental selection. Is that true? False? True? And false. Okay. All right. Makes sense? Yeah. Okay. So these are some of the easier ones. And then you have.
Okay. All right. I have another video if you need to. So now we have without oxygen. So now we have anaerobic respiration, which is also known as fermentation. So this only makes 2 ATP molecules. So it does not require oxygen, and it's used to make alcohol, bread, and yogurt. All right, those are some examples. So it can cause muscle fatigue due to the buildup of lactic acid. So if anyone's an athlete, actually I used to play college soccer here at LIU many moons ago, but we would always have to make sure that we would do a cool down. So we would work out, right? We would have practice and then we would have a cool down. The importance of the cool down is to try and release the lactic acid from your muscles, right? This build up to decrease the amount of muscle fatigue you have because the next day you have practice again or you have a game. So you try to get all this lactic acid buildup out of your body that makes your muscles ache and sore. So if anyone goes to the gym, if anyone does play sports or even goes for a long walk and your muscles get tired, right, and the next day they kind of hurt, that's the lactic acid buildup in your muscles. So a lot of times people also try to use foam rollers to roll out their legs. That also helps to release the lactic acid buildup as well. So these are all real life examples that you can use or you've seen people do. And this is why.
2 billion years ago, right? So the question is, what happened during that time? Okay. Right. You have an answer, you said?
2.
2. Life processes of cyanobacteria in the ocean. Okay. So let's see. Yeah. So if you look, again, it's kind of wonky. If you follow the dotted line down, those are equivalent in time. So you follow the dotted line, oxygen entering the atmosphere, and then you have oceanic oxygen produced by cyanobacteria, combines with iron, forming blah, 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 right? So that is how you get your answer there. It's a mercurial question. It is a little blip on this giant page of the reference tables, right? So oceanic oxygen, and then if you follow it down here, right, that gives you that. Okay, that's a toughie. Okay, it's a warm water current, and we say the East Australia current. All right, folks. So we covered a lot of ground yet again tonight. We talked about dynamic crust. We talked about earthquakes. We went all through the lab practical for this course. We had many other things course related. Please make sure that you check out the resources. If you're taking that lab practical next week, please make sure you check out the resources on the lab practical. I am like giving you the answers to that. It's free money, okay? So please check it out. Otherwise, does anybody have any questions before we go? Yeah.
You posted that?
Yes, that is in the Google Classroom. All right. All right, guys. I wish you all a good night. Thanks. You were really great. Good job.